Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Sorry, I got a makeshift studio going on right now. I'm in Memphis right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got Joe Rogan speaking up for Donald Trump, defending Donald Trump and his past decisions as president. And two people who are usually more to the center, which are the gentlemen of trigonometry, also have some very positive things to say about Donald Trump and why, if you're an American, you would hear Donald Trump and be like, that's my guy, just in time because the election is so close. Get out there and vote, guys. But let's start off with that Joe Rogan clip, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
she gets it out.
This is so nuts. You guys are. It's the way they're talking about it. It's almost like they don't know what they're doing, or they're not aware of what they're doing.
Or they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't give a.
Yeah, one of those. Either one's not good.
Yeah.
But, you know, from my conversation with Trump, I don't think he's the monster that everybody thinks he is. And I think for sure there's been a gross distortion of a lot of the things that he said that's led to this, you know, the Fine People hoax, the Russiagate hoax. There's so many different, the suckers and losers hoax. There's all these different things that people attribute to him to try to make him way worse than he really is. Instead of just like addressing the things you don't like about him that are real, you know? And so it's this distortion. And we know there's a distortion, and that's why when he sits here and he talks for 3 hours, people are so interested. It's not just because what he says is interesting. It's because we know you've been we know that you've used the legal system to try to arrest this guy. You've done some Banana Republic where you're trying to weaponize the legal system to go after your political opponents. We know that. So when you get a chance to see that guy talk, you're like, oh, so this is who he is. And again, he's being charming. He knows millions of people are listening. He's talking to me. I've met him before. We have a mutual good friend in Dana White. He knows I'm not going to be an so he's comfortable. But you get a chance to see, well, he is that guy. Part of him is that guy. Like, it's not an act. That's who he is. He is that guy. He's not a terrible person. It's just you may or may not agree with his approach. You may or may not agree with how he runs his business and how he wants to do things.
But if you keep using the word fascist against him, you ratchet up the pressure, you ratchet up the tension. So people are looking at him going, well, this guy is a fascist. He's Hitler. Therefore, we need to do everything in our power to stop Hitler coming to power, because if they did that in the 1930s, we wouldn't have World War II, 6 million Jews wouldn't be exterminated.
Whoopi Goldberg was just saying he's going to separate interracial couples.
What?
Oh,
See if you can find that. See if you can find that.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't even watch it. I saw the clip and I was like, I can't even watch this. I'll lose my marbles. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like put you in camps. I've heard that too. They're going to put people in camps. They're going to put gay people in camps too. What? He was president for 4 years. None of these things happened. He was already president. This is part of the problem with saying this. If he wasn't president before and he was saying outrageous things like, what if this guy gets in power? But he was president. And he was president for 4 years.
And it's interesting from people who keep talking about hate, how much of that they're projecting onto him. Well, let's have a look at this. It's going to sound so crazy.
Says. We get some volume.
Different way than to come after people because of their heritage, which they are born into. It is not a choice. You are who you are. Right. And here you're going to make all kind of fun. People said no more. We're tired of that. That's why people are saying, right, that you heard the women say, listen, what we heard at that rally should be enough to shake folks awake, because he's talking about you, all of you, all of you. He's talking about you and us. He's not going to, you know, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
What? Yeah, that's a large jump from what he's ever said. That's a crazy thing to say.
That's why I thought you were very wise to bring The View up as the first thing you talked to him about, right? Because you're just going, this is how it used to be. And I remember at the exact moment.
9 years ago.
I remember.
It wasn't that long ago. Our friend Donald Trump. They all come and hug him and kiss him. Everybody loves you. They were talking about how they love him.
Yeah, man.
And the audience was cheering. He was getting cheered on The View. It is so wild to watch. We didn't play it for him because we didn't want to give anybody any excuse to give us a copyright strike. Because I wanted to play it. I wanted to start the show off with him listening to him being on The View and go, what is this like? Because like, there's no one ever that's had the machine turn on them. Whether you agree with him or not agree, you must admit, like the Steele dossier, all the crazy stuff they put out on him, they've turned this machine on him in this way you've never seen before. And this is how they used to look at him just 9 years ago.
You know, it was
longer than that. It was 2011.
Oh, was it?
2011.
When he was running for president?
He wasn't running for president then.
Oh, he was talking about running for
He might have
president?
mentioned it then, but I don't.
Well, he went on The View multiple times. How many times did he go on?
He's been on, but I was trying
When
to
was the
Google it,
last time
too.
he went on?
That could have been his last appearance, I think. I don't know.
Well, that makes sense, right? Because Barbara Walters, when did she stop being on it?
Yeah, she was on that appearance.
And she looked pretty young back then. So 2011. So, okay, 13 years ago. Still nuts. Still nuts.
It's not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
And for that complete about turn to go from the greatest guy who everyone
Right.
wants to be the president to the devil incarnate in 13
the same
years.
people.
From the same people.
Joy Behar hugging him. Whoopi Goldberg hugging him. All of them hugging him.
That's quite a transformation.
Well, it's like they got their marching orders.
He did. He was in the 2012 race.
Bows out of the 2012 U.S. president. So that was when he was thinking about doing it in 2012. Oh, remember at the White House press correspondence dinner when Obama roasted him
Yeah.
and said, "But I'm one thing that you'll never be, president of the United States." And everybody went, ah, and he was like, "All right, it's like, you're not the wrong dude." So there's fucking dudes out there that are like the boogeyman. They just will keep coming. You
Well,
know?
that's part of his appeal, man. Is like when he got shot and he's badass. Well,
Yeah.
you made
Fight.
fight. And you know, at this rally, there was this point when he was just it really struck home for me why people like him. It was like he was talking about China, and somebody had said, put out a report that if America had a war with China, America would lose. And he was like, first of all, why would you put out that report? And secondly, we would kick their ass. And you kind of go, if you're an American and you want your country to be great, you want it to be successful, left or right, whatever your position is, do you want to be on the side of the people who think America's future is behind it?
Right.
Or do you want to be on the side of the people who think, yeah, we're going to kick ass, we're going to succeed, we're going to make money, we're going to be successful?
And there's also like looking at some of his foreign policy decisions and whether or not he was correct. One of them was the embargoes on Iran. That seemed to have freed up a whole lot of money when the Biden administration let those funds free, and then October 7th happens shortly thereafter. And when you know that they fund these various terrorist organizations, this is something Iran's done. This is not a big stretch to think that one of the reasons why these things are happening was because people went a different way than Donald Trump did when he was in office.
Yeah,
And a lot of people feel like that, like logical, reasonable, left-wing people even.
It's because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. If you give the Iranians a shit ton of money, and also if they don't fear repercussions,
Right.
you put those two things together, is it a surprise?
No.
Do you think part of the problem is we think everyone just thinks like us? So we're like, you know
Sure.
what? If
Yeah,
we
the
give
big
more money
problem.
to the Ayatollah,
sure.
you know what he's going to do? Yeah, all right, you know, he's a bit nuts, but he's going to put money into social programs. The average Iranian
Did you ever
is
see
going
that?
to be happier, healthier, wealthier.
Did you ever see that interview where this woman was asking the Taliban whether or not they're going to let women run for office now?
I burst out laughing.
Laughing in her
Yeah.
face. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? You don't understand this place at all.
Yeah.
It's called mirror image bias. Actually, a lot of foreign intel guys, they get trained for years to not think that everyone is like them. Because they're absolutely not. The people in charge of Iran, they want to wage jihad against America
Right.
and Israel.
Right.
What do jihadis do when they have money and opportunity?
Yeah, they go to jihad.
Yeah.
They start going.
It's not
Yeah.
complicated.
It's not complicated.
Right.
And Trump was aware of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's some of the decisions that he made were better decisions. That's objectively true.
And now Israel is having to deal with these terrorist groups that are armed and funded to the teeth.
Yeah. And then we're in this place where we're arguing about jokes. Weird, right?
Yeah.
It
is. Weird.
Fucking weird.
Because
Weird.
it's easier to argue about jokes than
Yeah.
it is to talk about the Middle East and be actually honest about it and go,
Yeah.
what Israel is facing is an existential fight for survival, and Israel is causing, you know, there are war crimes happening, whatever. But you can't.
Hey, you know what? I like that attitude. There's war crimes happening and whatever. Hey, I get it, man. I know I don't want to like take his words out of context, but like, you know what he means. It's a very complicated thing. It was just funny the way he said it. There's war crimes and whatever, but you know, the right to defend themselves, which is true. You know, everybody has to preface it with that, right? That's like that's the phrase everyone has to say, no matter what. You can be Jewish. If you're criticizing Israel, you better say they have the right to defend themselves. You better say it right off the bat. But which they do. I'm just saying, you know. I hope everything's okay, YouTube. I said it like 3 times. Okay, YouTube? Anyway, there's so much to go through here, but Joe Rogan stepping up. You know, it's funny because he's like, these things are objectively true, you know, to clear thinking, you know, even left-wing people. And it's funny because he's saying it on a platform where, you know, he's talking about what he's seeing and what he is realizing, but he can't just outright be like, hey, I think what Trump did was right. I think he made good decisions. I think the things he can't go that far, but he's doing the best he can, you know? I know there's some people that don't like even what he just said now, but he's doing the best he can. You know, he interviewed the guy. We wanted him to interview the guy. He finally did, you know? And now he's speaking up for Trump. You know what I do wish, though? I will say this. Sorry if the air conditioning's going. I got no control over this place, guys. I usually have control. But what he said about Donald Trump, what he did with Iran with the money, like holding back that money, it's just interesting the way he's saying. He's like, you would think, you know, they're known to fund these terrorist organizations, and you know, Trump made sure they didn't have money, and you know, it's like you can just come out and say it, man. Biden freed up $6 billion for Iran, and Iran was like, let's go, boys. Some senile guy just gave us $6 billion. He doesn't even know he gave it. Let's go. You kidding me? Throw it out. Do what you got to do, guys. You know, that's the basic of it. You know, Trump says it over and over again. When I was dealing with Iran, they were broke. They had no money for anything. They didn't have money for a missile or anything like that. And it's true. People laugh, and when he first did it, they were like, "Oh, you're Islamophobic. You're Islamophobic. What he's doing with Iran." He's like, "I don't care what you have to say. I'm gonna make sure they don't have any money to do anything." And then Biden's like, "I think they should have." You know what it's like? It's like when your parents are like, "No, you can't have $20 for that." And then your grandpa comes over and he's like, 20. He's like, "I'll give you 300. What is it called?" It's called meth. Oh, go get as much as you want. All right. Bring me back some ice cream, okay? You know, it's like, you know, grandpa he likes to give. He likes to give. He gives a little bit to Israel. He gives to Gaza. He funds both sides. He just likes to give, you know? You know, I make fun of Biden a lot, but it's going to be sad when he's gone. I'm telling you guys, and I don't mean like pass away, but when he's not president anymore and he's not talking anymore, because you know he's going to fade into the shadows. That's it. He's going to be like George W. Bush Jr. He's just going to disappear. It's going to be sad, you know? Trump is funny, but Trump's not funny like Biden's funny. You know what I mean? Biden just comes out of the woodwork. "Oh, yeah. What are you calling Puerto Ricans garbage? Oh, well, that's no good. You're all garbage." You and whoever voted for you, whoever voted for me, they're all garbage. Everybody, white skin's garbage. Did I do it right? Did I do it right? No, sir. You did it wrong. You did it wrong. Just let BlackRock run the country, okay, Biden? Don't worry about it. We're all good. You did what you did. You opened up the border. You gave it to this cackling lady. You're good. Anyway, back to Trump. Just talking about Whoopi Goldberg separating races. Whoopi Goldberg has said that Trump is going to actually, separate people who are interracial. She said that he's going to put people into camps. She and Maxine Waters said that Trump supporters are practicing with firearms in the hills and are going to attack communities of color. That's a real thing. Go look it up. They both said it. It's crazy. They've said, if you just put everything, I should do this. Someone should do this. Put everything that they have said about Trump on paper and then go, well, who wouldn't go after this guy? You're making him seem like an absolute monster. I saw an article the other day where it said that Trump talks like Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin. You wrap them all up into one. Oh, okay. Of course. Can't have that guy walking around. So, of course, there's some guy at a golf course that's like, I've been sitting here for 12 hours. Like, of course. That's how it goes. You can't say all these things. Because, listen, I participate in this stuff, too. I call Kamala Harris a Marxist. I also back it up with a extremely long argument. Videos upon the hours of videos breaking down why I'm saying she's a Marxist, breaking down where her connection is, breaking down the things that she says and how it's connected to Marxism and communism. And I also say that I don't think she's going to be a full-blown communist right away. I think she's taking steps towards it through the things that she says. You know, I participated in a way too, but I break things down more so. If you're going to say he talks like Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin, you got to prove that. You know what I mean? You got to make a long video explaining to me how he talks like those people. I'm sorry, man. I have this stuff on my phone. Put people in camps. How much they hate, the hate that they have for Trump, they're projecting onto us. They're projecting onto Trump. I see Trump as somebody who, he takes shots. He's disrespectful. You can understand why he would be bitter or a little angry with these people. But I don't see hate. I don't see hate. I don't hear hate when I hear him talk. I don't hear a hatred. He'll call them sick people, this, that, but he doesn't have a lot of hatred towards these people. Whereas on the left, you see a severe hatred. And again, go back to everything I just said about what they say about him, and it all of a sudden becomes understandable. It's completely manufactured, but I understand all out of nowhere. And then, you know what's funny? What Whoopi Goldberg said, she said, what you heard at that rally is what he thinks. And she's solely, because Trump said nothing that was offensive, she's solely talking about what Tony Hinchcliffe said. And I have to say, you know, I think he's a comedian, and that's what comedians do, especially him. That's what he does. But God, man, he really messed up. And you got to think, Tony's a Trump supporter. Like, I don't know if you know about Tony Hinchcliffe. He's a Trump supporter. There's been times where he's been on the JRE, and he makes sure to speak up about what a great president he thinks Trump is, and that he's going to vote for Trump. And, you know, there's a reason he was on that stage, but he really messed that up. And there's even people now put on your tinfoil Speedos. There's even people now who are theorizing that perhaps that was a setup. Perhaps he got on that stage as a comedian with more than 20 years experience who you think would know better and did that on purpose. That's the theory that people are playing around with. I don't think it's true. I think that he's caught up in a whirlwind. He's one of Joe Rogan's best friends. He has a show that does absolutely amazing. He has Netflix deals. He's around people all the time who think he's incredible. He gets to roast people all the time. He just thought, I'm just going to push the envelope. I push it wherever I go. I'm a rock star. And that's what ended up happening. But it is sad that now they're using that as such ammunition against Trump, because Trump didn't actually say it. And then the appeal to Trump, you know, when that gentleman that was talking, his name's Constantine, when he's talking about the appeal that Trump has, that is so true. It's because, and he's explaining it in a different way, but it's because he's saying what not just what Americans want to hear. He's saying what Americans need to hear, what they need to be saying. You can't be moving through life. It's so crazy when I hear people talk about how terrible America is, what a terrible position, and we'll never bounce back from this, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, are you crazy? You don't even understand how far ahead you are still with the Saudis moving their dollar, moving their oil reserve or whatever they're doing, from the Saudi breaking clear of that deal, from Russia doing what they're doing, from China doing what they're doing, from them cozying together, from China trying to pretty much colonize Africa, from Trudeau dancing around with trans ladies. Do you understand how far ahead America still is to the rest of the world? You don't get it. You're in the water, so you don't know how wet it is. Buddy, so far ahead still. There's still so much more that can be done for America. There's still so much more opportunity here. There's still so much more better quality of life than the rest of the world. Like, just, you have no idea, man. Still living better than 98.5% of the world. I know that sounds weird, and you're like, what are you talking? Still living better than 98.5% of the world. Trust me. Don't give up on America. Do not give up on America. And again, you could go vote. Please go and vote. I know I'm ranting a little bit here, but it's cutting close, man. And if I hear the same thing happen that happened in 2020, you know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. YouTube won't let me say it all, but you know what I mean. If I hear that same stuff, come on, man. You can't let that happen. No violence. Just go vote. You don't need violence. You got your vote. Vote, man. Get 5 of your friends together. Go and vote. And then mirror image bias. That's the last thing that I will touch on that Constantine brought up with Joe Rogan. That is an interesting thing. To think that not everybody is like you, because there's a lot of good in that, but also you don't exactly want to think that your neighbor is the enemy and that they're so different from you. So I hear what he's saying in that, and you can't do that when it comes to terrorists. But I don't want anybody to hear this clip that I just played and think that you should think about your neighbor in the same respect, or someone who's on the left in the same respect, or someone who's on the right in the same you know, like, don't think of it like that. You know, those people, even if they are voting dramatically different than you are, they're still your neighbor. They're still your countrymen. They're still your fellow citizens. You know, you got to still see it like that. Unless they're Antifa, and I'm not saying that, I'm just saying Antifa's a different thing. You know what I mean? They're a different thing. I'm almost going to say, I'm not going to say it, but I mean, Hamas, Antifa, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. I got the tinfoil Speedo on, but we're not going to go there. We're in Memphis. We're going to have a good time. Let's not go there. But please, guys, vote. Vote like your lives depend on it. But just know that actually, I'm not even going to go there. Vote for Trump. I'm not going to mince my words with this both sides stuff. Go and vote for Donald Trump. Get Trump in office. It's a step in the right direction. The things that Bobby Kennedy is going to do alongside Vivek, alongside Tulsi, alongside JD, they are going to be tremendous. I'm telling you, this is something that gets to happen once in your lifetime. We've never, check the history books, we've never seen something like this happen before. Please participate in making that history come true and vote. Other than that, guys, I'm out. Like, subscribe. Peace.